What is good, everybody? Those of you who know me know that I enjoy my own company. I love my own company. In fact, there are a few things as enticing as a prospect of locking myself away in my own flat for a whole weekend and just watching TV shows and stuff. Minimal interaction with human beings. We're in fall right now, which means that a slew of TV shows are starting up again, and a whole host of other shows are just beginning. And I want to focus on one in particular. So, without further ado, let's talk about The Gifted. The Gifted is yet another Fox TV show set in the X-Men universe. For those of you who aren't familiar with the X-Men source material or what that stuff is, normally they tell stories with themes of prejudice, of, for lack of a better term, race relations. They always take the form of people living in a world where latent genes within them have been activated in such a way that they either develop powers or develop differently from other people. Some people view this as a next stage of evolution, other people view this as some kind of abnormality, something to be feared and shunned and destroyed, and that's where the conflict stems from. So, in terms of the premise, we've got this family smack dab in the middle of this whole situation I just described, that then find out that their kids are mutants or awakened to these powers. So, it's about them on the run and how they're gonna deal with this situation. In terms of the cast, we've got quite a lot of faces that are familiar to me from shows I haven't seen in a long time. We've got Stephen Moyer, who played Bill Compton, of course, from True Blood. Another show I followed and had mixed feelings about, who plays the father of this family that finds out about their kids. Kobe Bell from Burn Notice. Forever ago. I don't know if anyone you ever followed this spy action comedy / drama. It was a lot more lighthearted, which was quite the change because in this show he plays this intrepid, really intimidating agent of an agency called Sentinels that exist specifically to track down, find mutants, and bring them in. You know, people that have been outed as mutants so that they can be controlled by the government and all that stuff. And then we've got Jamie Chung from Gotham, who played this journalist I found really annoying in the role of Blink, who is another mutant in this world. So there's a lot of that going on for it, and I like seeing friendly faces. I like seeing familiar faces, in shows that I start picking up. Now, I absolutely love that this show just unabashedly tells you that it's tied into the Fox universe that has the X-Men in it, that I believe is the same universe where Legion is in as well. Another really cool thing I like about this is the fact that the characters we're looking at, the characters that the story revolves around, are all these B and C tier X-Men. You're not looking at, Cyclops or Storm or all these people. You're looking at all these smaller people with lesser significant powers, not to say that they're useless or anything, but characters that the mainstream may just not necessarily be familiar with in the same way. So this whole thing feels like a breath of fresh air. You're looking at all these people being put in similar situations. You don't know how they are as archetypes the same way you would know with the X-Men we've all come to know and love throughout all the movies that have come out. Now the X-Men are acknowledged, they are mentioned, just general knowledge that they existed and now they don't anymore. They've gone into hiding, they've vanished or something like that. And the show doesn't hang you up on this. It just lets you know this and then keeps going. And I'll tell you another thing I like. I thoroughly enjoy the Stan Lee cameo. You don't see him appear a lot in TV shows. But this one was, it was meaningless, but I enjoyed it. In terms of things I wasn't a big fan of, we got the pacing. Now, a lot of shows do this, and I don't know why. There's this emphasis on getting everything out of the way at a very, very brisk pace, super fast. So you've got a lot happening one after the other. And I truly felt it in this show. This is a 40-minute show. They had time to establish the status quo, to introduce the main characters as well as the antagonists, and they had time to break the status quo, all the while introducing characters that are coming and going, and the cast is pretty sizable. As a result, you don't feel like you spend any meaningful time with anyone. This show is going to be 10 episodes. This season's going to be 10 episodes, so I have to imagine they've got a lot to catch up with. There'll be more time to do that, and yeah, it's just hard to tell at this point. I personally tend to like it when shows take their time with this. Another thing I didn't like is actually a byproduct of the pacing, which is way too much CG. Okay, look, I understand. This is a show about people with superpowers. You're going to have a lot of CG, or at least you're going to have to infer that people can use their powers. However, as a result of the pacing, you have all these characters coming into screen. We, the audience, know have superpowers, but I haven't seen them use their superpowers for the first time. So you've got a lot of situations where a character shows up, we're introduced to them, they use a power that we're then going to associate with them from that point on. And normally for me, that's a big moment, you know? It's the first time you're seeing it. There's gotta be an impact to it. Which I'm not saying there's not. The problem presents itself when you have one character doing this, you register it, and 2 minutes later another character is doing the same thing. And rinse and repeat like 5 or 6 times. But given the way the show is paced, I guess they just had to do it this way. So whatever, it's a bullet I'm willing to bite, but it's a call nonetheless. As of the recording of this video, there is only 1 episode out. And that episode was enough to win me over. I am really hoping, against hope, that there will be some kind of crossover or acknowledgement with the show that Fox put out earlier this year, Legion, which, as far as I can tell, takes place in the same universe, is a very similar theme, but takes a nice new unique twist on it. Another thing I have to say that just completely won me over with the show is, again, another very personal point to me, which is the timing. I explained the theme of this. It deals with a lot of prejudice, with a lot of fear, with a lot of, well, acceptance. All these 3, it's like a holy trinity, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to pick my words very carefully here. I don't like getting very political on my YouTube channel, but I think we live in a time and age where public perception of all these things, public perception of people, of prejudice, looks very different today than it did 10 years ago. What I'm trying to get at is we need more stories like this in times like these to remind people. And that's gonna be that. So hey, the show won me over and I'm gonna continue watching it, which is why I think you should give it a chance to. And hey, that's gonna be that. Peace everybody.